what's up guys? Welcome to episode 46 of Retro Buyer's Guide. I'm Mike, and today I'm going to right a wrong on this channel. For the 46 episodes of the show that I've done, there has been a serious lack of Sega Dreamcast content, and I'm going to fix that today. But instead of just going over the games that I really enjoy, and believe me, there are plenty of them, I want to talk about unreleased games and homebrew titles. So without further ado, let's just jump right into it.
Despite its relatively short lifespan for a console, the Sega Dreamcast continues to stay popular among retro game enthusiasts, not just for its fantastic library of games, but also its very active homebrew community. Thanks to sites like the ISOzone.com, game developers of all skill levels are able to share their creations with others. There are literally hundreds of titles on this website, some as recent as this year. And many titles that never had an official retail release or died early in development have also been preserved online. Perhaps the most well-known example of this is the Dreamcast port of Valve's Half-Life. Developed by Gearbox Software, Captivision Digital Laboratories in conjunction with Sierra Entertainment and Valve, Half-Life for the Dreamcast was originally announced in February of 2000 and was eventually delayed multiple times until the summer of 2001. A few weeks prior to its release, it was cancelled due to the Dreamcast's slow sales. Unfortunately, it's not a very good port of Half-Life, due mainly to its frequent and very long load times. Aside from that, there are also frame rate issues. Part of that could be because the build that eventually found its way online might have not been fully optimized, but because it was such a late build, I'm not sure that was the case. The game also does not support autosave and takes up most of the space on your VMU when you're saving between levels.
This is the purest sample we've seen yet.
And, potentially, the most unstable.
Now, if you follow standard insertion procedures, everything will be fine.
Despite these issues, the port is still unmistakably Half-Life and looks great with enhanced textures and character models that were to be unique to this version. It's not the best way to play this game, but it's still really cool to see it running on a Dreamcast.
I'm seeing predictable phase arrays. Stage 2 emitters activating now.
Rise, warrior.
Volker the Viking is an action platformer that was originally developed by Crazy Viking Studios after being successfully crowdfunded on Kickstarter in 2012. It was initially released in 2013 on Windows, Mac OS X, and Linux. A year later, it was ported to the Xbox One. In 2015, it was released as freeware for the Dreamcast after it was ported by Mark Hall with full permission from Crazy Viking Studios. Volker is a throwback to games like Rastan and Rygar, with brutal difficulty. You're armed with a sword and shield, but a single hit will take away your shield, and another will outright kill you. This game is all about muscle memory and knowing what's coming next. Though it's difficult, it's never unfair. So if you're a fan of old school action platformers and enjoy a challenge, Volker is an excellent game to add to your Dreamcast collection and can be downloaded directly from volgar.rkd.zone.
Propeller Arena. Aviation Battle Championship.
Propeller Arena is an air combat game for the Dreamcast that was originally supposed to launch on September 19th, 2001. The game's release was cancelled because the packaging and parts of the design were too similar to the events of 9/11. Sega was purportedly going to release the game at a later date, but it never materialized. Thankfully, a copy was eventually leaked online. The game is basically an online dogfighting flight simulator. It's all very well put together and quite fun, if not a little repetitive. The American version also features songs licensed by No Use for a Name and Rise Against. The game also features power-ups that can give you a temporary advantage over your opponents. While I had a blast gunning down the computer AI pilots, I think this game would have been much more fun online with human players. Still, if you're curious and want to check it out, it's certainly worth a single blank CDR. One of the more interesting games I'm featuring in this episode is the beta build here of ToeJam and Earl 3. In 2014, an assembler forum member purchased a Dreamcast developer kit on eBay and found this game on the internal hard drive. While a ToeJam and Earl sequel did eventually see a release on the original Xbox, the Dreamcast version is much more like its predecessors on the Sega Genesis, just in 3D. There's no bosses or cutscenes. You mostly just wander through each level, funkifying humans, collecting presents, and searching for the elevator.
Yeah, a present. Come and get me.
Because it's an extremely early build, it's pretty buggy, but still pretty fun at least to experience some of the early levels. I just think it's crazy how this just saw the light of day just 2 years ago. It goes to show you never know what's hiding on an old hard drive in a developer kit. One last thing I wanted to mention is the use of emulators on the Dreamcast. An excellent port of the Nestor emulator for the NES is available with nearly the entire ROM set for both the NTSC and PAL regions. Though I didn't test it extensively, I was pretty impressed with its performance. Here's the Japanese version of Castlevania 3 running great with the extra sound channels intact. And here's Mega Man 4 running on the Dreamcast. Alright guys, that is going to do it for episode 46 of Retro Buyer's Guide. As always, thank you so much for watching. If this is your first time seeing this channel, hit the subscribe button so you can keep up with future videos. And if you enjoyed the video, hit the like button please. I look forward to making more videos for you guys in the future, but until then, take care and happy collecting.